I cover what we call the TOLA region: Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. I am sure I've spoken to some of you, already. This session today is going to be covering conquering synthetic fabrics with confidence. We're going to go all through what are synthetic fabrics, marrying the right heat transfer technology to the right fabric. You guys, I love to make these interactive. Please ask questions in the chat. If something doesn't make sense or you need me to repeat something, I have my colleague Stacy behind the scenes. She's going to be helping to answer all of your questions. If there's something she's not familiar with, she might pop in from time to time and ask the question out loud so that I can help answer it, right there in the chat, or answer it for all of you. Really excited to spend some time with you guys this afternoon. Thank you so much. I apologize in advance if you hear some mowing outside. This is my home studio, and I guess some gardeners have decided to mow some lawns. So I apologize in advance if you guys hear any of that going on, but hopefully you won't. I think they're gone now. So let's dive right in. I am going to open this up with a poll question. I would love to know how many of you own a Hotronix heat press. And I'm going to explain why I'm starting out with that question right out of the gate. But Stacy, if you can launch that poll really quickly, and let's see how many of you own a Hotronix heat press. The reason why I wanted to start with that question is because we're going to be spending a lot of time today talking about top heat, which is what you see in all heat presses out there, from your cheaper import presses, your Amazon presses, your Cricut, Kraft, hobby presses, all the way up to your industrial grade heat presses. Typically, I shouldn't say typically, always, you will see top heat only. We have created a product out of Hotronix called Power Platens, and we're going to be diving into what Power Platens are and how they're used. But really, in a nutshell, it's incorporating bottom heat technology into your heat press and then sandwiching really heat sensitive fabrics with a much lower heat on the top and a higher heat on the bottom so that you no longer get those scorch marks. And don't worry, folks, please don't worry. If you don't have Power Platens or you don't have an Hotronix, it's okay. I am going to go over with top heat only some tips and some tricks as well, okay? So don't think this is all about the Power Platens and you have to have a Power Platen in order to participate in this webinar. That is not the case at all, but I am going to show you why bottom heat technology is sometimes so crucial with certain synthetic fabrics. So let's back it up a step really quickly. Let me just kind of give you a definition. I'm sure all of you already know what synthetic fabrics are, right? It's anything that is made of synthetic fibers, i.e. anything other than bamboo, cotton. A synthetic fabric is made up of polyester, spandex, lycra, neoprene, nylon, right? Nylon's a big doozy when it comes to scorching, burning, platen marks, plate marks, square box, you name it. I've heard every single term under the sun for what we call scorching synthetic fabric. And really, when it comes to heat print technology in synthetic fabrics are extremely sensitive. They do not like heat and pressure. Those two things combined is a little bit like kryptonite when you're dealing with certain synthetic fabrics. There's tri-blends as well, okay? So what you really want to consider when you're working with synthetics, first and foremost, you have a client or a customer and they've come to you and they're like, I want a Sanmar Sport Tech button-down polo. Right then and there, your alarms should go up because those are typically very heat-sensitive items. They're 100% polyester, usually some form of PK, moisture wicking. You have all these crazy coatings nowadays on these performance synthetics. UV coatings, moisture wicking, waterproof coatings, all sorts of coatings that also can kind of cause, scorching, really. So if you have your synthetic fabric, first and foremost, you need to make sure that you're marrying the right product type to that fabric. I see this day in and day out. I have customers that I call or contact or reach out to me and they're like, what did I do wrong? I've got this polo shirt and I've got this box mark on my left chest logo. We do a little bit of digging. I come to find out that they're using maybe our goof proof transfer, which is a fabulous product, but it applies at a slightly higher temperature. It's not ideal for really heat sensitive fabrics. So again, making sure you marry the right product to the right fabric. I am going to have Stacy copy and paste some links, some PDF links for you in the chat box. If you all can take a minute, open those up, save them to your desktop or your documents. We will also email them to you along with a recorded link to this session today. But we have a what to use when PDF. I love this document because really it helps you determine, what to use when in terms of how many colors and the quantity that you need, right? It kind of fits you into the box. And then once you're fit into this product box, then you can swap over to our fabric compatibility PDF. So Stacy, if you can also copy and paste that in the chat box, both for Stahls and Transfer Express. We are going to be playing with both Stahls products and Transfer Express products today. So you guys are going to get a good feeling for both divisions. So really, again, it's about marrying that fabric. I say it over and over and over again. It's making sure that you've got a nice low temperature application product for the heat sensitive fabric that you're going to be working with. I've been doing this about 15, 20 years. I can take a look at a garment like this, which is a Sport Tech 100% performance polyester polo shirt. And I know immediately, I think, oh, that's a scorcher. Like if I don't pick a product that's going to apply at a lower temperature, I know I'm going to get a box mark on my left chest, right? And we've all seen it. We've all experienced it. It's a nightmare. Let me define a couple of terms for you guys. And really, truly, there's a lot of different terminology out there that kind of describes the same thing. But the way I was taught and the way I like to extend this to my customers is you can bruise a garment, okay? So you're talking about the box mark from the Platen, i.e. Platen mark, box mark, impression mark. You can bruise a garment. If you bruise a garment, you can actually wash that garment and the bruise mark will come out, okay? Then there's scorching a garment where you have actually burned the fibers of the synthetic material. When you scorch a garment, there is nothing you can do. That garment is toast. It's not going to wash out because you've actually burned the fibers of the synthetic material. So there is a difference. People always ask me, well, how do I tell? It's gonna have to take time and kind of repetition and a little bit of trial and error, but I'm gonna show you guys a garment that I did some testing on before this webinar to really dial in my settings, and I'll show you what I think is a bruise mark and will wash out and what I know is a scorch mark and will not wash out. And you'll start to get a really good feel for what is what. So let's talk about the heat press for a second. So we've already defined what a synthetic fabric is, right? We've talked about making sure you marry the right product to the right fabric. If you guys take nothing else away from this webinar, that is the single most important thing I recommend that you all do. We have created such amazing educational PDFs and flyers to really help guide you in terms of what to use when, and then marrying fabric compatibility to transfer type. So make sure you guys save those documents, print them out, refer to them any chance you get. If you miss them, don't worry, we will email them to you. You can also find them on our website as well. You can just type them into the search bar. let's talk a little bit about heat press, right? Not all heat presses are created equal. It's a recipe. I tell people 3 ingredients: time, temperature, and pressure. You have to have those 3 things to have a good quality heat transfer that is going to be long lasting, not crack, not peel, all that good stuff. And then if you're dealing with stretch items that have lycra or spandex, you want to make sure you have a stretch transfer that can stretch and rebound with the fabric and not crack, okay? So Hotronix heat presses, for those of you that are not aware, we manufacture our own brand of Hotronix heat presses, and we really pride ourselves on USA-made quality heat presses that are meant to last. This is a Hotronix auto clam that I'm going to be showcasing today. I've got the 16 by 20, okay, so you've got your 16 by 20 footprint, and what I've done is I've set up my press with our little 6 by 6 power platen and our controller box. It actually just bolts into the side of the press, but this can be taken off. It's just two little bolts. It can be taken off. This is the controller, which is a separate brain for the power platen, so it controls the temperature of the power platen. And then the upper heat is controlled by your digital readout brain here, okay? I am going to remove this power platen after I do my first couple of examples and demos. I'm going to remove the power platen and drop in the 16 by 20 standard platen that comes standard with the heat press, so that you guys can really get a good feel for the difference between using a power platen, i.e. bottom heat technology, and top heat only. So I want to show you guys something because, again, I consider myself a veteran in this industry. I've been doing this a really, really long time. I've decorated countless garments. And I wanted to show you guys this. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And this is why I had my team send me 2 of each garment, because I wanted to test and play with my first garment and then be able to showcase and demo the second garment for you guys. So it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to get up close here. See that box mark right there? This is UltraColor Blocker out of Transfer Express. We're going to talk about that, and Stacy will paste a link to that product. But you guys can see that is a scorch mark. I have burned that fabric. That is not coming out. This was applied using the power platen. So even with the power platen and lowering my top heat significantly, I still got a scorch mark on this really heat sensitive fabric. So then I thought, okay, well, let me take this and play around with it a little bit more. So I did a back yoke. Okay, same thing. I tried a flexible application pad, and I'm going to go over all of this with you guys. Okay, I'm going to show you what all of these products are. I'm just kind of showing you this first. Same thing. And I thought, oh, darn. All right, well, let's play around with this again. So I used our flexible application pad. This is typically used with our FlexStyle product. Stacy, if you can put a link to this product on our website for everybody. I thought, well, let me try that. I'm going to try that and see. And I had pretty darn good success. This, folks, is what I call a bruise mark. That will typically wash out. Okay? So let's see. Yep, those were the 3 areas that I tested. So let's see how we do when we actually live demo this for you folks. Let's see if I get any marks, get any scorch marks. Again, we're all human. We all make mistakes. A lot of this is trial and error. So here's the formulation that I have determined that is going to work for all of these fabrics or garment types that were sent to me by our marketing team. I've set my bottom platen to 300. Okay. Again, this operates just like an upper digital readout of your Hotronix. It's just the mode. You set it to your temperature, which I've set to 300. I don't need any dwell time on here because my dwell time is counted down by here. Then I've set my top temperature to 265. Okay, so I'm at 265 on the top and 300 on the bottom. Typically, we recommend 250 on the top. However, I was still getting scorch marks even at 250, which is a very, very, very low temperature. So what I did was I turned it up to 265, and I incorporated my FlexStyle pad, okay? It's an orange reusable pad. These, I believe, don't quote me on this, I always get this wrong, they're either $20 or $25, okay, on our website. You can also, we sell them in a 6x6 size. You can request them larger. Just call into Stahls 1-800 number, okay, and say, I would like the orange FlexStyle pad in a larger size. How do I go about ordering that? And the customer service rep will be able to help you on the 1-800 number. We don't have it on our website yet. It's coming, but you can call into customer service and order a larger one. So if you're working with an 11x15 Platen or a 15x15 Platen, you can order a larger one, okay, because you will need that. I've dialed in my pressure. One big thing, one big mistake that I see with customers that work with our power or have our power Platens, they, what I call, over pressurize them. There is a balloon or a bladder built into the power Platen. It helps absorb the pressure, almost like a pillow built in there. If you use too much pressure with the power Platen, you can actually pop that balloon that's inside of it. And it won't pop like a balloon, it'll just kind of deflate, and then it'll cause a valley, which can cause uneven pressure. So make sure that you guys are following the pressure settings for the power Platen, and those are listed on the landing page for the power Platen. It states right there, based on the size of the power Platen you're using, what the recommended either PSI, if you have an automatic heat press, or for a manual, 0 to 10. So with our little 6x6, we want to be at about a 3. FlexStyle, you could go as low as a 2. Some other products, you might need to inch it up to a 4. I really like kind of that 3 pressure readout. And for those of you that are not aware, Hotronix has a digital pressure readout. So I'm going to show you guys when we go to apply our first one where that digital pressure readout is. So there's literally no guesswork for you. It tells you exactly where you need to be on the pressure. So while I'm getting my, let's say this is my job and I'm getting my transfers ready and I'm getting my garments ready for the day, I want to heat this up. I want to get it nice and hot for my first application of the day. Once you do your first application, this sucker will be hot and you're off to the races, okay? But it's cold and it's thick. So a little tip is to preheat this. You can literally just lay it down on your power Platen. Again, the power Platen's hot. It's 300 degrees, okay? So it's getting nice and hot while I'm kind of organizing my transfers. First garment is 100% performance polyester Ogio quarter zip from Sanmar. Beautiful piece. But for those of you that have ever worked with heather grays, you know, man, they are a doozy. I'm going to be putting our FlexStyle left chest on this. Stacy, if you can copy and paste a link to our FlexStyle product, wait till you guys see this. It is so cool. So I load all of my garments upside down, right? That is another great thing about the Hotronix heat press. I've got my counter caddy here that lifts the heat press up, so I have complete threadability, all right? I'm going to get my damaged garment off there. So it's nice and hot now. That is nice and hot, ready to go. So I'm going to load my garment here. Everybody always asks me, how do I know if I'm getting my left chest straight? I'm an eye person. You can use thermotape and pre-tape your items down. We have laser alignment tools. You can find tools on Amazon, jigs, all sorts of things. I go by my eye. So let's see if I can get this straight here. So I'm just going to place my FlexStyle down. Again, 265 on the top, 300 on the bottom. Using my orange pad, I'm going to be at a 3 when everything's engaged, and I'm engaging this for 15 seconds. See, it's at hopefully you guys can see that. It's at a 3 readout. I'm at 15 seconds on my dwell. When it gets to 3, it will automatically count down and release. All right. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to let it cool before I peel. Hopefully y'all can see that. So I'm just gonna lay it to the side, let it cool down, and move on to my next item while that's cooling, and then I'm gonna come back and peel it and hold it up and show it to you guys so you can see how cool our FlexStyle product is. Works great on apparel, headwear, outerwear, jackets. I wear FlexStyle on thin polo shirts. It also has a sticker adhesive backer option that is great for hard goods. So now here comes my dreaded royal blue Sport Tech Performance Polyester Polo. I'm going to do a left chest on here. I'm going to start with our UltraColor. This product, if you guys are not familiar with this product, run to Transfer Express and order your free samples. Stacy, if you can paste a link to the product in the chat box, that way they can all click on it at their leisure. Guys, I am an evangelist for this product. Full color, completely borderless, buttery soft hand feel. I mean, it is truly, truly an amazing product. Comes on a clear carrier, applies normally at 275 290 for 15 seconds, 12 to 15 seconds. But again, we're using the power Platens, so adjusted that temperature a little. I'm using the blocker version, so it's got the blocker layer on the back that helps prevent dye migration. This type of garment can bleed over time, so let's try it out here. Again, I'm going to use my orange pad. Get it straight there. My orange pad is still nice and hot. I'm going to go 15 seconds. 3 on the digital readout. This is also a peel cold product. So when this is done, I'm going to remove it, let it cool, and then I will peel it cold. Look at that, guys. No box mark. Okay. So let's see how our FlexStyle did here. Hopefully y'all can see me peeling. Kind of hard to peel and hold it up at the same time. Super easy. Discard your carrier. What do you guys think? I'm gonna kind of hold it up close for you guys to see the texture and how cool this product is. Look at that. Look how cool that product is. 25-piece minimum on this product. It comes in 4 different finishes. Just a really, really cool product. So while my UltraColor is cooling down, I'm actually going to put our soft foam on the back yoke. So loading it again, upside down. Back yoke is right here. Whoops. Here we go. This is our soft foam product. It's a heat transfer vinyl, single color. Amazing product, you guys. Stacy, if you can put a link to the product in the chat box, that would be great. Comes on a tacky carrier. Okay. It's also a cold peel product. So I'm just going to put it right here on our back yoke. Put my orange pad down. Again, it's retaining heat. I held the collar there because it's a really slippery polyester, so it kind of wanted to keep sliding down on me. So I kind of held the collar right there to keep it in place until the machine can lock it down and hold it nice and snug. All right, again, peel cold. Let's see how our UltraColor does here. Still a little warm. You want to make sure that you peel the UltraColor dead cold. This is one of those products that there is no cheating with the peel. I oftentimes will walk into a lot of shops and, you know, we've got a cold peel product and I see the team members or whoever is doing the application fudge it a little and they you know, kind of peel it warm. Some products you can get away with that. You cannot get away with that with the UltraColor. Dead cold. I tell people this all the time because a lot of people are very hesitant with cold peel products in production. Oh, I don't want that. I want hot peel. It's so much faster. Really, it's truly not that much faster. If you've got a job for 24 polo shirts, right, and you're using UltraColor, apply all 24. You can come back and peel those suckers cold after you've done all 24. You could go to lunch and come back and peel them cold. You could go home for the day and come back the next morning and peel them cold. It doesn't matter how long you leave the carrier on there for. It's not going to harm anything. What will harm the product, the longevity, the washability, the durability, is if you peel it too early, okay? So let's see. It's still a little warm. Oftentimes, I've got a tablecloth on my table here, but if I did not have this, and usually I don't have a tablecloth, I'll lay it down on something cold. You can get a magic eraser and suck the heat out. I've had some customers get little ceramic tiles because they're cold, and they'll suck the heat out as well.
Hey, Jennifer, quick question for you.
Yeah.
Is the upper Platen still at 265? We had a question about that.
Yes, 265. Bottom Platen is at 300. Yep, I did not change anything. So hopefully you guys can see this. I wish you could just reach through here and touch this product. It is like nothing you have ever felt. It is so buttery, velvety soft. Is truly the only way I can explain this product. It's amazing. So let's continue to let the soft foam on the back yoke cool down. I could feel it, still feel a little hot. And I'm actually gonna swap out my Platen now, okay? So I'm gonna turn off my controller. Great thing about this is the top is obviously extremely hot. It's 300 degrees. If I were to put my finger on it, I'd burn my finger. But the bottom portion is not very hot. So lift my quick release lever that all of Hotronix heat presses come with, pop this out, and just place it down. Let it cool down, okay? So really handy. I don't have to wait for it to cool down to change it. Now I'm gonna pop in my 16 by 20 Platen. So again, for those of you that don't have a Hotronix heat press, you can see how easy it is. That's it, and then you just push your lever in, locked in tight. So we're at 265 on the top. We have now removed the bottom Platen completely, but I've dropped in a much larger Platen here. So I want to adjust my pressure. Watch what happens if I just try to go and apply. It's so tight, I can't even lock it in. I have to back my pressure off. I have to adjust. So that's a little tip. I can get going really, really fast. I talk a lot. Inevitably, I'll change out my Platen and I'll forget to adjust my pressure. I go to put my garment in there, my transfer in there, and boom, I don't have my pressure adjusted. So let's keep backing it off. I'm going to be demoing our next product, which is UltraWeed. So I want to be at about a 6 with the UltraWeed. So let's test and see where we're at here. We're right at a 6, okay? This is a little tip. If you want to get it open, if you've made a boo-boo and you go, oh my goodness, I need to get it open, you can pop it open with the palm of your hand. I don't recommend getting in a habit of doing that constantly day in and day out. But if you have a boo-boo, an emergency, you forgot to change some settings and you went to go apply and you need to pop it open, you can pop it open with the palm of your hand. So the next product we're going to talk about is UltraWeed. For those of you that have not heard or tried our UltraWeed, I guess I should come over here because it cuts my head off. Request a sample. Stacy, if you can paste a link to the UltraWeed heat transfer vinyl out of Stahls. This product is amazing. We offer a ton of beautiful colors, metallics. It's just a great all-around product. Very easy to work with, very cost-effective, and the best part about it, in my humble opinion, it applies at 265 degrees. Folks, that is low. 265 degrees for 15 seconds. Let's see. They all swirl in my brain for 12 seconds. For those of you that don't have a 2021 catalog, definitely go onto our website and request one. If you've never seen this page, these are our application instructions. Product, time, temperature, and pressure. It's amazing. Great little cheat sheet. I keep that catalog next to me all day, every day. It's a great, great little tool to have. We are going to be working with an alternative Heather tri-blend. It's got what I call the two-way stretch, right? So it's got some stretch in it. UltraWeed has got nice stretch and rebound. Again, remember guys, talking about making sure that you've got the right product type for the fabric, which includes making sure your product, your heat transfer product stretches. I would not put thermofilm on this. Our thermofilm doesn't stretch. It's thick. It's not very breathable. It's not very lightweight. I would not put goof proof on this. It applies at a higher temperature. Doesn't have any stretch. Goof proof is out of Transfer Express. So again, making sure that you marry the right product to the fabric that you're working with is going to be really crucial to your success. So again, threading my garment on. You'll see if you've watched any of our other webinars, videos, Facebook Lives, we apply everything upside down, okay? Making sure all your seams, your collars, everything is off the platen so it's not impeding a nice, smooth application. I am going to preheat my fabric. You always want to get in a good habit of preheating your fabric, guys. I did not preheat these first fabrics because my power platen was already hot. So it was naturally preheating the fabric. I didn't have to preheat it. I laid the fabric down on there and it just nicely preheated it. This one, I don't have bottom heat now. I'm just using my regular Hotronix just as it came out of the box. I need to preheat my fabric. This is a tri-blend. It's got cotton in it. Cotton wants to shrink. Your heat transfer vinyl can kind of pucker up if you don't preheat it. Get all the moisture out, get all the wrinkles out. So I'm gonna preheat. Another little tip that I really like to tell folks, I'm not sure if you guys know this already, but I kiss my garments. I don't like to put my garments under unnecessary heat and pressure if I don't have to. So here's how a little trick on how I preheat my garments. I simply kiss. I don't actually lock in and engage my press because I don't want a box mark on there. Okay, now we're at 265, which is where we need to be for UltraWeed, but what did I tell you guys on the dwell time? 12 seconds. My press was set to 20 seconds for the FlexStyle, the UltraColor, and the soft foam on the flower Platen, so I need to adjust my dwell time, okay? So let's see if I can show you guys here. Hopefully you all can see that. Sorry if the handle's in the way. Oops. Well, it's not going to do it because it'll start to engage, but I'm going to go from, sorry, I was at 15. I thought I said it 20. I'm going to go to 12 seconds. So now I'm at 12 seconds. My garment's nice and hot. It's preheated. I'm going to take my transfer off the liner. This is already cut and weeded. And I'm just going to kind of line it up on here. Again, guys, I eyeball. Typically, one finger is 1 inch. I like to use 3 on a woman's crew neck. Make sure that that's kind of centered there. Get my trusty Kraft paper. If you all don't know or don't have or don't utilize Kraft paper, Stacy, if you can paste a link to our Kraft paper, this is a great tool. We sell it by the pack, 25 sheets per pack. Super cheap, very inexpensive, reusable many, 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 many times. People ask me, well, how many times? I mean, I've used this hundreds of times, hundreds, and it's still good as new, okay? This is a peel hot product, so engaged it for 12 seconds. And it's peel hot. Just slow and low and away from you, just like that. Can you all see that? This is a coral color, just so soft and breathable and lightweight. Applies at a nice low temperature, so it's not giving you that box mark on the tri-blend here, especially Heather Gray, which is, it's a doozy. Heather Gray is a doozy. So I am now going to do metallic on a faux snakeskin clutch. Metallic applies at 285. I'm at 265. So I'm going to up my temperature to 285. And we're gonna let it heat up. It's gonna take about five minutes, I'm hoping, to heat up. Let's see how our soft foam did on the back yoke of our Polo, okay? Feels like butter. It's gonna be a little bit hard to show you guys the dimension of our soft foam. If you haven't checked this product out, guys, check it out. Josh just did a video on layering soft foam, soft flock, and foil together, mixing medias. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So this is a heat transfer vinyl that you can layer. So really fun, great product, kind of gives you that dimension, right? No scorch mark. So had to learn the hard way, had to eat the Polo shirt. And if I'm you guys as a decorator and this was a client order, I ate a Polo shirt, right? You know, these run about, I don't know, on the high end, $5 a Polo, maybe $8 a Polo. So making sure you're factoring things like that into your costing is also going to be really, really important. You know, everybody asks, well, how do I know what to mark up my item for? How do I know what to sell it for? Couple of key factors. Number one, you need to look at your market around you. You know, look at your community around you. How many competitors are in your space doing what you do and what you offer? Do you offer anything specialized that maybe the competitor down the street does not offer? I don't know. Is it quicker turn times? Is it customization? Is it, you know, personalized names? Like, what is it, right? But making sure that you factor in costs for boo-boos like that, because obviously if this were a client job, I'd eat the cost of that Polo, and I need to make sure I'm covered so I'm not starting to crunch into my margins, all right? Now, it's much easier said than done when you're working with $5 to $8 Polo. If that were a Nike $50 Polo, you know, you really need to make sure that you've got it dialed in before you start working with a more expensive item like that. So next thing I'm going to show you all is a faux snakeskin clutch. Love this little clutch. It is so cute. And how I'm going to decorate it on a 16 by 20, right? Like, I can't really do it that way because I've still got this snap in here. It's double layered. The seams around the edge are going to cause a valley right here. So I need to lift up my imprint area. Well, a great way to do that is our Print Perfect pads. Stacy, if you can paste a link to the Print Perfect pads, these are a really handy tool to have. We sell them in various sizes. You guys can see this was our largest size, which I want to say this was 11 by 15. I actually cut it. I cut it with a razor blade so that it would fit nicely in here. Anytime I cut these up, I keep them. I have a little basket and I have a bunch of different sizes because I know inevitably I'm going to need this size again. So what you do, how it works is real easy. You just pop this in there, okay? And now it lifts up just the area you're applying to and allows the rest of it to fall off. So a really good tool to have in your toolbox. However, and I did this on the last webinar, I was going really fast. I was busy talking. I didn't adjust my pressure. I just stuck my clutch under there, put my transfer on and pressed away. And my pressure was way too high because of the Print Perfect pad. So I got an impression mark because of my Print Perfect pad. So let's test our pressure here. So what I do is I just lay my Print Perfect pad there. I already know there's going to be too much pressure with this added pad. So I'm going to back it off a little bit. I want to be, when this is all engaged, I want to be at about a 6. Way too high. I need to really back it off. Okay, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Still way too high. Again, so you just kind of keep backing it off. Okay, I'm at about a 4. All right, so I'm going to take it up just a notch, not too much. Place this now inside my clutch. All right, we're going to showcase it with our metallic. For any of you that have used foil before, you know how labor intensive and what a pain foil can be. It's a 2-step process. So it's a clear adhesive that you lay down, you press, you peel away, and then you lay down your foil on top to give it that really cool foil effect. It tends to be, you know, very labor intensive, 2-step process. So we launched, for those of you that don't know, a metallic product. Looks and feels exactly like foil, but doesn't lose its luster after a few washes like foil does. Foil is one of those very few products that I consider a novelty product. Does not withstand our standard 50 wash and dry cycles. All of our products have to go through that standard, FYI, before we launch them to market. So they're extremely durable and long lasting. We sell them to the brands, the large brands. So here's metallic. We did this as a monogram, really cute. Get my pad centered in there. Sorry guys, I hate putting my back to you. Let's see, does that look about centered there? Yep, okay. I'm gonna use my handy craft paper. Oh, almost forgot the dwell time. See, I get going too fast. So metallic is 8 to 10 seconds. And remember, we're at 12. I'm gonna take it down to 9. So it's a happy medium between 8 and 10, right? This is also a peel cold product. So we'll set it aside while we get to our next item. So I'm just gonna let that cool, and then we'll remove that cold. So the next product that we are going to apply is the soft foam. Again, and the reason why I wanted to do this for you guys, let's see, soft foam dwell time is 15 seconds. So we're gonna take it back up to 15. There we go. Okay, now the reason why I wanted to do soft foam twice, same thing, I'm gonna do it on the back yoke, is because I wanted to show you guys how the soft foam performed with the Power Platen using the FlexStyle orange pad, right? No scorch mark, no box mark, beautiful. But obviously there's a ton of you out there that don't have Power Platens. You might not even have a Hotronix heat press. You just need to figure out, what can I do? How can I apply this with the heat press that I currently have? You know, not everybody has the budget to fork out money for a Power Platen. So I wanted to show you on the same type of heat sensitive polyester polo. So we've got our Augusta Holloway Performance PK red. Red is a doozy for scorching, right? So I wanted to show you guys another option that you can do without having to invest in a Power Platen. And the cheapest and easiest way to do that is a flexible application pad, okay? Stretchy, gray, thick, really helps to prevent scorch marks, box marks, bruising. And this is, folks, this is as cheap as it gets in terms of a tool for your toolbox when decorating heat sensitive fabrics. this is a great tool to have. So Stacy, if you can paste a link to this little handy product for those of you that don't have this product, go do yourselves a favor and purchase it. I don't know the price right off the top of my head. I want to say somewhere in the $40 to $48 range. It's somewhere in there. Great tool to have. Little tip, again, just like the orange FlexStyle pad, these are thick and it's cold. It's been sitting in my cold office. This is cold to the touch. It blocks heat from getting through it. So what do we have to do? You have to preheat it just on your first application. Once you've preheated it, it tends to kind of hold in that heat nicely. So you don't need to keep preheating it for every press, just your first press of your day or your shift or your project, okay? So we're gonna preheat this. This will also give me a chance to test my pressure when using this because my pressure might adjust a little bit. So let's preheat this. And one thing I forgot. So the soft foam is 15 seconds. When you're using this, you want to increase your dwell time by 10 seconds or so. I like to double up my dwell time, but we really recommend 10 seconds is enough. So if 15 seconds is what the soft foam is requesting, I'm gonna turn it up to 25 seconds. So let me do that first. Great, I'm at 300 degrees already. I'm gonna turn it up to 25 seconds here. And again, we're doing that because this is so thick. You need to extend your dwell time to allow the heat to penetrate through it. So I'm going to preheat this, and it's a double whammy. I'm preheating it and testing my pressure at the same time. Way too little pressure there. I was at a 0. So I'm going to turn it up. So we're at a 4. I'm going to get it just a little bit more so it's at about a 6. Now this sucker is nice and hot. I've preheated the heck out of this thing. So I'm going to do back yoke again on this using our soft foam, but this time instead of the power Platens, because let's face it, a lot of you aren't going to have the power Platens, I'm just using my flexible application pad. Same logo. There we go. All right. So it kind of is hovering between a 6 and a 7 on the pressure, 25-second dwell, and then it's a peel cold product. So we're going to let it cool before we peel. All right. Take my flexible application pad off. No box mark, guys. No Platen mark. All right, let's see how our little clutch did here. Still a little warm. I'll fan it. Stacy, any questions so far that you need a little assistance answering?
Yes, we have some good questions coming in that I've been saving.
Great.
So I'll start with this one. Somebody wants to know, how do you avoid scorch marks if your heat press doesn't have a pressure reading? Do you have any tips for that?
How do you, you broke up, sorry about that. How do you avoid scorch marks if what?
If the heat press they own doesn't have a pressure reading, what are some tips you could offer for that?
Okay, so a lot of, let's be real, cheaper, and they're usually import presses, typically made in China, might not have a pressure readout. So it really becomes a feel. You can get really good and really familiar with your heat press. If you've done enough presses, you know what a light, feel is, what a medium feel is, and what a hard, firm feel is. You can also, I've gotten really good at like listening to my press. You can hear it too. Does it just go click, click, click? That means, I mean, my 5-year-old could probably lift it open and closed. It means it's got almost light, no pressure. If it kind of goes click, it's medium. If it's like grunk, it's firm. So you're gonna have to just get used to a feel on your press because it doesn't have the pressure readout. Again, you know, really what we recommend for most of our products is a medium pressure. We have very few products in our lineup that will require firm pressure, and we have very few products in our lineup that will require light pressure. Typically, everything is a nice medium pressure. I'm going to peel this cold before we move on to the next question. Look at that. How cute is that, guys? Well, mostly the ladies. I don't know if the guys would like that, but super, super cute. So don't be afraid to decorate outside of the box things, you know, clutches, bags, backpacks, headwear. There are so many options with heat print technology and decorating outside of the box things that you can't screen print or you can't fit on the hoop of an embroidery machine. So really the options are endless when it comes to heat transfers and heat transfer technology. All right, Stacy, more questions?
Yep, a few more.
All right.
So this is kind of similar to the last question, but a little bit different. Okay. If they don't own a Hotronix heat press, should they add a few seconds to our recommended times that we have on our website?
That is a fantastic question. So it boils down to your brand of heat press. And it's okay, guys. Look, everybody's got to start somewhere. We're all in this business to make money. I don't think any of us are independently wealthy. We don't have money growing on trees. Sometimes we can't afford, you know, $1,700 heat press right out of the gate. We're just starting out. We're a side hustle. We're a home-based business. We're a stay-at-home mom or dad that's looking to make extra money. And you got to start somewhere. So you buy the, you know, what you can afford. It's okay. It's okay. Bottom line is it's okay. I would get yourself, you're going to get different opinions here, but temperature guns, right? You can get them on Amazon. They're infrared temperature guns, okay? They're like battery operated. You shine them straight, not angled, straight in the middle and the 4 corners, and see what your press is reading out at. They're not 100% accurate. Like in the case with our presses are Teflon coated. Teflon tends to refract the infrared heat gun, right? So you can get a 5 to 10 degree variance, but if you're off 40, 50 degrees, you've got a problem. You're likely going to either need to buck up and get a good quality heat press because you've got some issues. This is a very general rule of thumb, guys. Do not take this with a grain of salt. In my experience, I have found that those cheaper presses last on average, depending how many impressions you're doing a day. So how many presses you're doing a day in a week, they last anywhere from 6 months to about 1.5 years before they really start to give you inconsistent issues. Mostly temperature issues. They tend to dip in temperature or spike in temperature really badly. And then they just don't have the even pressure that's required. So if you guys are just starting out, and for those of you out there that are listening that just have that kind of introductory heat press because that's what you could afford, I recommend making a 1 to 2 to 3 year business plan, putting a little bit of money away every week, every month, and really saving up for a good quality US made heat press that has accurate time, temperature, and pressure. You guys will save yourself so many headaches in the long run and so much money. Because at the end of the day, it might look good, you ship it out, your client wears it your customer wears it once or twice, and it cracks and it peels and it falls off. 9 times out of 10, that's not the product. 9 times out of 10, that's either user error, you use the wrong application instructions for that product, or it's not a good heat press. 9 times out of 10, we can pin it back to that. So again, making sure you have a good quality heat press is going to set you up for success. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer.
You're totally fine. So a lot of the questions actually have to do with the different types of pads that you were showing.
Okay.
I got a lot of people chiming in about Kraft paper versus the Teflon sheets, or the orange FlexStyle silicone pad you showed. How is that different than the flexible application pad, the gray one?
Yes.
Just kind of getting a rundown of maybe what to use when, or...
Absolutely. I'll touch on that. And again, you might get a little differing opinion depending on who your sales rep is within the Stahls organization. This is kind of what has worked for me doing this for years. I love Kraft paper. Let's start with Kraft paper versus Teflon sheets. I love Kraft paper for a few reasons. Teflon gets really, really hot and it tends to burn my fingers and it annoys me. I don't like that. And sometimes on certain synthetics, it can actually leave a very strange sheen to the fabric, depending on the fabric. And at the end of the day, I just don't like to worry about it. I don't like to wonder and worry, is my Teflon sheet going to leave that sheen on this particular fabric or item? I like Kraft paper. It's great. It's just a great all around, very all-purpose use product. And it's cheap. The only time you would ever use it for single use would be like for sublimation, because the sublimation can sublimate onto the paper, onto the Kraft paper. And then if you go to transfer your next garment, that sublimation can actually release onto your next garment. That's the only time, but really you shouldn't be using it for sublimation. You should be using like cheaper, butcher paper or something. So that's my opinion on Kraft paper versus Teflon sheets. Now let's talk about flexible application pad versus the FlexStyle pad. So if you guys remember my doozy here, okay, I tested before my webinar because I wanted to dial it in. And even with my flexible application pad, which was this one, so even with the power platen, okay, 250 on the top, 300 on the bottom is where I started. So even at that, and my flexible application pad, the gray one, I still got a box mark. So I thought, this isn't working. What am I gonna do? So I then went to my orange FlexStyle pad. Again, guys, we don't have that listed on our website, right? This is one decorator to another. Sometimes it's rolling up your sleeves and doing some trial and error. And I thought, that FlexStyle, the orange pad, is a little bit thicker. Microns, not crazy. Let's see if you guys can see. It's a little bit thicker than this. It's a little bit spongier than this. So I knew it would help kind of absorb that pressure a little bit better. And I thought, well, it's worth a shot. I got to try it. And it worked beautifully. Now, what I did do, because this was a little bit thicker, is I upped my temperature to 265 from 250. So when we started the webinar, that's where I was. If you guys remember, I was at 265 on the top, 300 on the bottom, okay? And we are actually going to be revamping some of our application instructions, because I called a colleague and, was like, well, this is how I'm going to do this. And, this is how I'm going to pitch this to all of you. And she goes, it's okay. We are going to be incorporating this more and more into everyday fabric in our application guidelines, recommendations, tips, and tricks. So this is a great little handy tool. So I hope that helps, guys. So, my first my first instinct was, let me pull this out of my trusty toolbox, right? Didn't work. It still left me with a box mark. So I had this, so I was like, let me give this a try, and it worked really well. Now, what I would do, and you're not always gonna have this luxury, but I would take that damaged garment. It's damaged. I've eaten the cost of it as a decorator, a business owner, I've eaten it. I would take that and wash it, just to make sure that everything washes well, because now I've veered away from the recommended instructions that Stahls has given, right? And I've kind of gone out on my own to test with this. So I would wash my garment a few times to just make sure the product holds up really well. I hope that helps, guys.
No, that was good.
Great.
So, okay, so a few more. I know we're getting a little bit short on time.
Stacy, we have overtime, right? We can go up to like
yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
for those of you that want to stay and want to ask more questions, I'm here. I'm all yours for the afternoon, so we can talk through some more questions. No big deal, if you guys can stay.
Yeah, we're good. It does not kick us out of the room, so anyone is welcome to stay longer than an hour. So for the silicone heat press upper platen cover, how would that, someone asked earlier, how would that differ from the FlexStyle Silicone Pad? Would you have to use a pad in addition to the silicone upper platen cover? Or if you just had that upper platen cover, is that fine by itself? Or
so let's talk about Teflon upper cover sheets. It's a Teflon cover that you put on your upper platen. We sell them at Stahls. And they're really there to protect the platen from getting ink on it, boo-boos. You know, we all apply the transfer upside down once in a while. All the adhesive is gunked up on your upper heating element. So an upper Teflon cover is there to really help protect the lifespan of your upper platen and the Teflon. Again, this is very subjective, you guys. This is just my opinion in doing this for years and years. As you can see, I do not like upper Teflon covers. I don't like them. I don't like the way Teflon can leave that weird sheen on certain polyesters, certain synthetics, as a matter of fact, like it happens to Lycra, spandex, and I never know until I can test it. Well, if I'm dealing with a $80 Lululemon legging, I'm not gonna be like, well, let me just test that. I'm gonna eat all that cost if I get that weird sheen. So I would rather just default to my Kraft paper. I know it's not gonna leave that sheen. Again, this is very subjective and this is just my opinion. Obviously, we sell Teflon sheets and we sell Teflon covers for a reason. But if you're using a Teflon cover on your upper heating element, that can rob anywhere, depending on the type of heat press you have, anywhere between 5 and 10 degrees. So keep that in mind, you guys. If you've got a Teflon cover on your upper heating element, and then you go and use this as well, it's like acting as a double barrier between the transfer, releasing off the carrier and bonding to the fibers of the fabric. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to offset your temperature a bit and extend your dwell time a little bit so that all of that heat can get through the barriers. If you're using this or this, I recommend taking your upper cover off. Okay, I would not double up. That's my personal opinion, but I wouldn't. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. And then the next few questions actually have to do with Transfer Express products.
Great, okay.
All of the methods that you were showing, can they be used with Transfer Express products, including like goof proof, or can you use the FlexStyle Silicone Pad with elasti prints? Because I know there are some concerns with using cover sheets with Transfer Express products. So if you could break that down, that'd be awesome.
Fantastic question. Whoever asked that, thank you for asking that. It's a really good question. Really simple answer is no. We do not recommend any cover sheets with any of our products at Transfer Express except for UltraColor. So goof proof, absolutely not. Unfortunately, guys, these will not work with the goof proof formulation. The goof proof formulation is formulated so quick that it doesn't work well. And if any of you have tried it, you know what I'm talking about. The ink gums up and it looks literally like gum. It won't release off the carrier. So that is why Transfer Express takes a really strict stance on especially goof proof. No cover sheets. The carrier paper that comes with the goof proof is the cover sheet. So again, if you guys love goof proof, and I love it too, I love goof proof, I love it, but you've got this garment, I would not put goof proof on this garment. I just wouldn't. I would go to elasti print or I would go to UltraColor. And as a matter of fact, we forgot to peel this, so let's do that. Looks great. Kind of hard to see, but it looks really good. Elasti prints. No cover sheets with elasti prints either. They also do not support top and bottom heat. So the power platens with elasti prints, I however have a handful of customers that have had tremendous success using ElastiPrints and the Power Platens. They have independently wash tested everything on their end, their responsibility. They know Transfer Express will not stand behind it. So recommend it, support it, give them a return if it cracks and peels and falls off. So again, take that, the onus is on you. But I have had customers with great success with our ElastiPrints and our Power Platens. And then obviously UltraColor will work with the Power Platens as well. So you guys saw it. Where'd it go? Right here. Full color, borderless, gradients, blends, buttery soft, guys. It is so buttery soft. It's amazing. It's like a baby blanket. So I hope that helps answer that with Transfer Express products. If you've got heat sensitive fabrics with Transfer Express, automatically you should be going with ElastiPrints or UltraColor, never goof proof in my opinion, because those are a lower temperature product, right? So.
And then another question that just came through, can somebody use the Power Platen to fit the Fusion IQ as long as you're not using the slide out function of the press?
On air, I'm going to have to say no. We can't sell it that way. We can't market it that way. It's a potential safety hazard. So we're not able to get UL certification, and we really pride ourselves on safety and certification with all of our products. But I mean, physically, could it work? Probably, but we don't recommend it. So.
Awesome. I'm just seeing if there's any more questions coming in that I haven't answered already. There were some that were duplicates.
I see Kimberly posted, I use sublimation on a dishcloth and other materials. I have trouble with scorching. Can you help me with that? So let's talk sublimation for a while. That's really obviously not our expertise. We sell, we do sell sublimation transfers, but we're not in the sublimation game. We don't make sublimation printers. I can tell you this in a nutshell. You have to be really, really careful with the sublimation papers that you're using and marrying it to the fabric. Because sublimation applies at such a high heat, typically 385 to 400 for very long dwell time, typically 45 to 60 seconds. That is like kryptonite to certain synthetics. I mean, no matter what you do, it's going to scorch it. So you're going to have to find a different brand of dishcloth and a different brand of 100% white polyester. There are certain brands out there in the market that do much better with sublimation and certain brands that turn yellow and scorch and discolor. Hence why, again, just one decorator to another, I do not like sublimation. I think there's a market for it, doesn't feel like anything on the garment, but it comes with a lot of headaches. So hopefully that helps with that.
I don't know if you answered this, but would sublimation ink bleed onto the gray flexible pad?
Absolutely, yes. Sublimation is a gas, guys. So when it hits a certain temperature, it releases. It's going to release into anything and everything. So what people will do that do a lot of sublimation, I probably wouldn't recommend this for sublimation, to be honest with you, because you need that heat. You need that high heat and that long dwell. And your colors won't be very vibrant if you use this, because this is blocking a lot of that heat from getting through. But oftentimes people will put a piece of butcher paper, so your garment, your sublimation transfer, butcher paper, and then this. Try it, see what you think, but I don't love the results with sublimation using this. Cindy asks, can you double up the gray flex pad? I wouldn't. Then you start to really get into uncharted territory of the product might look okay, it might apply okay, you ship it out, your customer wears it once or twice, washes it once or twice, and it starts to crack and peel and fall off because not enough heat has really allowed the transfer to bond and grab to the fibers of the garment. It's basically just sitting on there.
I think that's pretty much it for questions. I think we answered most of them. I'm just seeing if there's any others.
Mandy said, is there any way to watch the beginning? How did customer come in? Absolutely, Mandy. We're going to be sending you a recorded link to the webinar with all of the PDFs and the links that Stacy put in the chat box. So you guys will get that in an email. I don't know, Stacy, maybe in the next couple days.
No, it actually goes out today. So after this webinar goes live, the email generates 3 hours after. So you guys will get it today.
Great. Richard asks, what transfers do you use for waterproof outerwear jackets? Good question, Richard. So a lot of those jackets have coatings on them, right? And the coatings act like kryptonite to adhesive, heat transfer adhesive. So a little tool that I keep in my toolbox is denatured alcohol. It's not rubbing alcohol, denatured alcohol. You can pick it up at Walmart, any local hardware store. I put a little bit in a spray bottle and I'll lightly mist just the area I'm applying to. It tends to wick away the waterproofing just enough to help my transfer bond. Now, depending on the jacket, if it's coated poly, you can use, depending on your product and the color, you can use UltraColor Stretch with blocker. You can use a lot of our heat transfer vinyls. If it's nylon, go to the fabric compatibility chart that Stacy is going to email you all. And there is a column for nylon, and then it tells you what products will work on nylon. So it's great.
Linda reminded me of a question.
Oh, you broke up. Sorry, Stacy.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
The material for the cosmetic bag, was that 100% polyester or was there something else in the snakeskin?
It's a faux leather. Let's see, guys, here. It's 100% PU, polyurethane, faux leather. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I saw somewhere put, they use a 5 on their Hotronix autoclam. Is that medium? Yes, that is medium. Anywhere between like a 5 and a 7 is a medium. I like a 6 just because it's that nice kind of happy middle ground. So I might crank it up a little bit to a 6 from a 5. Let's see, what else? What are the questions? Cindy, yes, we do have an iridescent product similar to metallic. It's called Chroma Bling. Go to the Stahls website under CAD Cut Vinyl. It's called Chroma Bling, CHROMA Bling. It's amazing. It's very iridescent, beautiful product. Looks a little different depending on the color you're putting it on. It'll pick up the color. It's really, really cool.
I just put the link in there too.
Great. Janet, yes, you can absolutely get samples of soft foam. Most of our products that we offer, there are free samples for them. Just go to the Stahls website and there's under CAD Cut materials, there's product samples that you can request for free. So yes, absolutely. Patrick asks, what is the best print and cut material for 100% poly? All of them, Patrick, all of them will work. I particularly like the soft opaque. It applies at a nice low temperature. It's really lightweight, stretchy, breathable. It just doesn't have any dye migration blocker in it. So if you've got a poly that's kind of a known bleeder, and there are certain brands out there that tend to bleed more than others, you'll then want to switch over to the Sublist Stop because it has the dye migration blocker built into it. Or give UltraColor a try. You'll love it. UltraColor is amazing. I'm sure you have a print cut and that's why you asked, but maybe for your larger volume jobs, you can outsource to UltraColor. It's a great product.
We have a question from Cindy. She said you mentioned that foil does not hold up well after 50 washes. Does the same apply to glow and hologram?
What didn't hold up well after 50 washes?
She had mentioned you said that adhesive and foil does not hold up well. So she wants to know if glow and hologram have that same problem.
No, not at all. Glow and hologram will hold up through the 50 wash and dries. The reason why foil doesn't, folks, is think about it. You have your adhesive, which will hold up through 50 wash and dries, right? The adhesive base. The foil is this very thin foil. So it's like a particle. And it's really a novelty product, and it tends to look, in my opinion, kind of dingy after a few washes. It loses its luster. Whereas metallic, which side by side, it would be very hard to tell the difference between metallic and foil. Like if just somebody's looking at it, you probably wouldn't be able to tell a difference. But metallic won't lose its luster. It's actually bonded to the adhesive already. It's a one step. You cut it, weed it, apply it. There's no two steps to it. I hardly ever use foil anymore unless I have to use like a cheetah pattern or some sort of pattern that you can't get in the metallic. But if I'm just using a solid gold, silver, rose gold, I would always use metallic instead of foil. Yes, the links will be sent to you guys. Catalog. Stacy, will you also just make a note to send that, the PDF?
I did. Yep, I did.
Great. Great. So you all will get the PDF to the catalog. Looks like you kind of answered it all, Stacy. It's great.
I'm just double checking to see. We just got a question come in from Donnie. He said he's doing red nylon football jerseys. Will white thermo grip let the nylon bleed through?
So you have to be really careful with the nylon football jerseys. If they're Augusta, there's a coating on the Augusta jerseys. Get yourself some denatured alcohol. It really helps with the Augusta in particular nylon. But yes, white thermo grip will work nicely. The only drawback to thermo grip is it doesn't actually have a dye migration blocker built into it. It's thick, so it tends to withstand the dye migration. But if you know that that football jersey is a known bleeder, you might have to go with like Sublistop and obviously not do a color, just keep it white because it has the dye migration blocker built into it. Or you can try AquaTrue at Transfer Express. It's our water-based screen printed transfer. Beautiful product, and it comes with an optional dye migration blocker layer built into it. But yes, Thermogrip should work on those nylon jerseys. Or Gorilla Grip too.
I think that is it.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate you guys spending your afternoon. I know, a lot of you are one man, one woman shows, so it means a lot to us to spend time with us. I hope you guys took some good information away from today. We'll get the recorded links and the recording of this, and I look forward to talking to a lot of you, either over the phone, via email, but have a great rest of your day, everybody.